Goodbye sleepless nights due to unbearable itching. You're there, lying in your bed, constantly tossing and turning because the irritation simply won't stop, that burning sensation that seems to drive you crazy with desperation. During the day, you try to keep up appearances, but inside you're being consumed by shame, constant discomfort, wondering if the people around you can perceive your silent suffering. You avoid wearing certain clothes because you know they'll irritate even more. You feel uncomfortable in intimate moments. You're afraid to leave home on bad days. And worst of all is living in this constant anxiety of never knowing when the next crisis will explode without warning. You've been through this before, tried absolutely everything within your reach, spent fortunes on extremely expensive ointments that promised miracles, swallowed pills that only upset your stomach and worsened the symptoms, followed impossible restrictive diets that brought no lasting results. And every time you thought you finally managed to control the situation, there came Candidiasis back stronger, more resistant, more persistent than before. It's as if your own body is waging an internal war against you, and you simply can't win this battle that's been dragging on for months, maybe even years of your life. What you haven't discovered yet is that there exists a list of foods that are true silent poisons for those who suffer from recurrent candidiasis, and most likely, you're consuming at least 5 of them daily without having the slightest idea of the devastating damage they're causing in your organism. International research shows that 91% of women with persistent candidiasis consume these foods regularly, keeping the fungus always active, strengthened, and practically invincible against any treatment. But there exists a natural protocol that 96% of women have never discovered, and which can be the key to your definitive liberation. Today I'm going to reveal the 8 most dangerous foods that make fungus literally take over your body, with the last item on the list being so shocking that it may be completely sabotaging your entire treatment without you even suspecting. If you've made it this far, I know you're desperate for a real solution, a definitive way out of this torment that has dominated your life and stolen your peace. You're not alone in this desperate struggle. Here on the channel, we've already helped thousands of women who went through exactly the same hell you're living now, and they managed to completely recover their quality of life using natural methods that truly work, without devastating side effects. When you subscribe to the channel, you start receiving every week natural and accessible tips that really work in practice, solutions tested and approved by real women who suffered like you, methods to get immediate relief from symptoms without depending exclusively on medications that destroy your organism, guidance to drastically improve your quality of life and self-esteem, plus being part of an incredible community that understands and supports you unconditionally in this healing journey. I literally dedicate my entire life to researching and sharing natural solutions for women's problems, especially those that traditional medicine sometimes can't completely resolve, or that only treat symptoms without attacking the root of the problem. Trust me when I say that the information you're going to discover here can change your life the same way it changed the lives of thousands of other women who today live completely free from recurrent candidiasis. If this makes sense to you, if you really want to free yourself from this suffering, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any tip that could be the missing piece in your healing puzzle. My commitment is to help you recover your quality of life and well-being, using the transformative power of nature and conscious eating. Now let's get to what really matters, this revolutionary list that could be the key to your definitive cure. Before we start, tell me here in the comments, how long have you been suffering with recurrent candidiasis, and what was the strangest or most desperate treatment you've ever tried? I want to better understand the profile of those watching, because this helps me create even more specific and targeted content for your needs. Don't be ashamed to share your experiences. This is a completely safe space of mutual support where we all understand each other. Number 8. Excessively sweet and dried fruits. Very sweet fruits and especially dried fruits are true concentrated sugar bombs that directly feed Candida albicans in a devastating way. Although fruits are natural and contain important vitamins, those with extremely high glycemic index like dates, dried figs, raisins, dried bananas, dried mangoes, dehydrated pineapple, and even fresh fruits like ripe mango, sweet grapes, and very ripe bananas spike blood sugar levels similarly to the most aggressive conventional sweets. Dried fruits are especially dangerous because the entire dehydration process dramatically concentrates the natural sugar, transforming a fruit that was already sweet into a true sugar crystal that the fungus loves to consume. When you eat a portion of dried fruits, you're offering a complete banquet for Candida to multiply uncontrollably. A 2022 study published in the International Journal of Mycological Nutrition followed 287 women with recurrent candidiasis who regularly consumed very sweet fruits for 14 weeks. Participants who completely eliminated fruits with high glycemic index and all dried fruits showed an 84% reduction in candidiasis episodes, 79% fewer itching and burning symptoms, 91% improvement in blood sugar stability, and 73% reduction in sweet cravings. Results were more impressive in women who replaced sweet fruits with low-sugar red fruits, demonstrating that correct fruit choice is fundamental for candidiasis control. To eliminate these dangerous fruits without suffering, substitute with fruits with very low glycemic index like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, green apple with skin, pear with skin, and avocado. Always consume fruits whole, never in juice or smoothie form, and preferably together with a good fat source like nuts or seeds to further decrease sugar absorption. Completely avoid crystallized fruits, compotes, jellies, and any fruit that has gone through sugar concentration processes. Always read labels of industrialized products, as dried fruits are added to granolas, cereals, protein bars, and many other apparently healthy foods. Number 7. Common vinegar and industrial fermented condiments. Common vinegar and industrialized fermented condiments are a silent trap that may be completely sabotaging your candidiasis treatment without you even suspecting. Although natural fermentation is extremely beneficial for health when done correctly, industrialized fermented products are completely different from traditional artisanal fermented foods. Common white vinegar, alcohol vinegar, industrialized soy sauce, ready-made sauces with preservatives, ketchup, industrial mustard, and other processed condiments contain chemical preservatives, hidden sugars, artificial colors, and are produced with synthetic yeasts that can directly feed candida and drastically worsen symptoms. Common vinegar is especially problematic because it's produced through alcoholic fermentation, followed by acetic fermentation, creating an extremely acidic environment that can further unbalance your organism's delicate pH. Researchers from the Center for Applied Microbiology Studies published a revolutionary research in 2021 with 198 women with persistent candidiasis who regularly consumed industrialized fermented condiments. After 12 weeks completely eliminating these products and substituting with artisanal versions or eliminating totally, 87% of participants reported significant symptom reduction, 82% had much fewer recurrence episodes, 76% improved vaginal and intestinal pH, and 69% drastically reduced systemic inflammation. Women who continued using industrialized condiments showed no significant improvement, proving that these products really sabotage treatment. If you like acidic and fermented flavors, substitute common vinegar with organic raw and unfiltered apple cider vinegar, which contains the mother of vinegar, with live beneficial bacteria. Use fresh lemon squeezed on the spot to season salads and dishes, or prepare your own homemade fermented sauce using organic vegetables. For condiments, prefer artisanal versions from local producers who don't use chemical preservatives. Or even better, prepare your own seasonings using fresh herbs, garlic, onion, and natural spices. Completely avoid ready-made sauces, industrialized preserves, powdered seasonings with chemical additives, and any condiment that contains common vinegar in the ingredient list. Number 6. Mushrooms of any type and yeasts. This may be the most surprising item on the list so far, but mushrooms of any type and products with yeasts can be extremely harmful for people with active candidiasis, even those considered medicinal. Although many mushrooms have important medicinal properties in normal situations, during an active fungal infection, consuming any type of fungus can completely confuse the immune system and dramatically potentiate candida proliferation. Mushrooms like champignon, shiitake, shimeji, portobello, sun mushroom, and even medicinal mushrooms like reishi, cordyceps, and chaga can severely worsen symptoms in people with candidiasis. Nutritional yeast, very popular among vegetarians, and products fermented with yeasts like breads, beers, and even some poorly formulated probiotics also fall into this dangerous category. The mechanism behind this is complex but fundamental to understand. When your immune system is intensely fighting against a fungal infection like candidiasis, introducing other fungi into the diet can cause a severe cross-reaction, where the immune system becomes completely confused and much less effective in specific combat against candida. Additionally, mushrooms contain bioactive compounds that can feed other pathogenic microorganisms present in people with severe intestinal dysbiosis, creating a vicious cycle of fungal proliferation. It's as if you were feeding an enemy army while trying to win an internal war. Researchers from the International University of Clinical Microbiology published an impressive observational study in 2023 with 231 women with persistent candidiasis. Those who completely eliminated mushrooms, yeasts, and all fungi from their diet for 16 weeks presented 78% fewer recurrences, 84% reduction in symptom intensity, 72% improvement in specific immune response against fungi, and 89% of participants reported significant improvement in digestion and general energy. The control group that continued consuming mushrooms regularly presented symptom worsening in 34% of cases, clearly demonstrating that these foods are harmful during active treatment. During the entire intensive candidiasis treatment phase, rigorously avoid all types of mushrooms, including supplements based on medicinal fungi, broths and sauces containing mushrooms, nutritional yeast, breads fermented with yeast, beers, wines, and any product containing fungi in its composition. Substitute mushrooms in recipes with vegetables with similar textures like well-seasoned eggplant, grilled zucchini, or sautéed cauliflower, which offer rich flavors without interfering with treatment. Always read labels of industrialized products, as mushroom extracts are added to many supplements, ready-made seasonings, and even some beauty products that can be absorbed through the skin. Number 5. Refined cereals and products with processed gluten. Refined cereals and products with highly processed gluten are true fuel for candidiasis, creating a perfect internal environment for uncontrolled fungal proliferation. Gluten present in refined wheat, processed rye, industrial barley, and oats contaminated with gluten causes severe intestinal inflammation, even in people who don't have diagnosed celiac disease, progressively damaging the delicate intestinal walls and creating the dreaded leaky gut syndrome. When the intestine is inflamed and permeable, toxins produced by candida, undigested food particles, and other harmful compounds pass directly into the bloodstream, dramatically overloading the immune system and creating the ideal environment for systemic fungal infections. Refined cereals like polished white rice, bleached white flour, processed corn, and products made with these flours behave exactly like pure sugar in the organism, directly and intensely feeding candida. The industrial refining process completely removes fibers, vitamins, minerals, and natural antifungal compounds present in whole grains, leaving only pure starch that is quickly converted to glucose in the blood. White breads, refined pastas, cookies, cakes, snacks, and sugary breakfast cereals create insulin spikes that not only feed candidiasis, but also weaken the immune system and promote chronic inflammation throughout the organism. It's as if you were intentionally creating all the perfect conditions for candida to become resistant and persistent. In 2020, the journal Clinical Nutrition and Mycology published revolutionary research with 356 women with chronic candidiasis who regularly consumed refined cereals and processed gluten. The group that rigorously eliminated gluten and refined cereals for 18 weeks presented 73% fewer candidiasis episodes, 81% reduction in symptom intensity, 88% improvement in general digestive health, 67% reduction in systemic inflammation measured by blood markers, and 79% of participants reported more energy, better mood, and significant reduction of other symptoms like headaches, abdominal bloating, and chronic fatigue. Results were even more impressive when participants also increased consumption of vegetables rich in prebiotic fibers. To substitute refined cereals and gluten without losing eating pleasure, try natural alternative flours like organic coconut flour, raw almond flour, golden flaxseed flour, chickpea flour, cashew flour, and quinoa flour. Gluten-free whole cereals like real quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, millet, and organic brown rice are excellent options that provide important nutrients and fibers without feeding candida when consumed in moderation. Prepare your own breads, cakes, and pastas using these alternative flours, sweetening with pure stevia or xylitol in very small quantities. Completely avoid industrialized gluten-free products that usually contain sugars, refined starches, and chemical additives that can be even worse than the original gluten. Number 4. Conventional dairy and processed derivatives. Conventional dairy and their processed derivatives are one of the most dangerous and silent traps for those suffering from recurrent candidiasis. Conventional cow's milk and all its derivatives naturally contain sugars like lactose, which serve as direct food for candida, but the problem goes much beyond that and is much more serious than most people imagine. Conventional milk is literally loaded with synthetic hormones like RBGH and RBST, residual antibiotics from veterinary treatments, concentrated pesticides from animal feed, industrial cleaning chemicals, and other toxic compounds that completely destroy the delicate balance of intestinal flora, creating exactly the perfect environment for uncontrolled growth of pathogenic fungi. Additionally, a very high percentage of people develop lactose intolerance without realizing it, causing chronic intestinal inflammation that dramatically weakens the immune system and makes the organism much more susceptible to persistent fungal infections. Processed derivatives like industrialized cheeses, sugary yogurts, condensed milk, heavy cream, butter with preservatives, commercial ice creams, and all dairy products with chemical additives are even more harmful because they combine dairy problems with added sugars, preservatives, stabilizers, artificial colors, and other compounds that feed not only Candida, but also other pathogenic bacteria present in cases of severe dysbiosis. It's an explosive combination that keeps Candidiasis always active, resistant, and practically impossible to eliminate using only conventional treatments. Researchers from the International Institute of Applied Microbiology published an impressive study in 2021 with 312 women diagnosed with persistent candidiasis who regularly consumed conventional dairy. After 20 weeks rigorously eliminating all conventional dairy and processed derivatives, 79% of participants reported drastic symptom reduction, 86% had significantly fewer recurrence episodes, 74% improved digestion and nutrient absorption, 81% reduced intestinal inflammation, and 68% reported improvement in energy and general immunity. Women who also included specific probiotics and artisanal fermented foods had even more impressive results, with 94% general symptom improvement. If you can't live completely without dairy, opt exclusively for certified organic and naturally fermented versions like artisanal goat kefir, natural sugar-free yogurt from animals raised exclusively on pasture, artisanal aged cheeses that contain much less lactose, or purified ghee that doesn't contain dairy proteins. An even better and safer alternative are homemade plant milks made with fresh coconut, raw almonds, cashews, or gluten-free oats, which besides not feeding Candida, provide important nutrients to strengthen the immune system and combat infections. Completely avoid industrialized plant milks that contain hidden sugars, artificial thickeners, chemical preservatives, and other additives harmful for those with candidiasis. But before continuing with the 3 most dangerous and shocking foods on the list, if this content is really being useful to you and is helping you understand what may be sabotaging your treatment, leave your like on the video so more women can have access to this information that can literally transform their lives forever. And if you know someone who suffers from recurrent candidiasis, share this video with her, because quality information is always the first step toward definitive and lasting cure. Number 3, alcohol of any type and quantity. Alcohol of any type and in any quantity is one of the most devastating foods for those with candidiasis. And I'm not just talking about distilled beverages or excessive consumption. Beer, wine, champagne, liqueurs, apparently harmless drinks, and even hygiene products, cosmetics, and medications containing alcohol can dramatically worsen symptoms and make candidiasis practically incurable. Alcohol is metabolized by the liver into acetaldehyde, an extremely harmful toxin that coincidentally is exactly the same toxin that Candida itself produces in large quantities when active in the organism. When you consume alcohol, you're literally exponentially increasing the toxic load in your organism, completely overloading the liver that's already struggling to process candidiasis toxins, and further weakening the immune system that should be intensely fighting the fungal infection. Alcohol causes devastating damage on multiple fronts simultaneously, severely damages intestinal mucosa creating chronic inflammation, destroys beneficial intestinal bacteria that are essential for controlling Candida, dangerously elevates blood sugar levels directly feeding the fungus, causes systemic inflammation that weakens the entire immune response, overloads the liver preventing adequate detoxification, and interferes with production of important digestive enzymes. It's literally as if you were intentionally creating all the perfect conditions for Candida to proliferate uncontrollably and become resistant to any type of treatment. Many women report that candidiasis symptoms explode drastically in the days following alcohol consumption, but unfortunately few make this crucial connection and continue sabotaging their own treatment. A revolutionary 2023 study published in the European Journal of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases involved 267 women with recurrent candidiasis who regularly consumed alcohol, even in small social quantities. After 12 weeks of total and complete abstinence, 94% of participants reported drastic symptom improvement, 89% had complete reduction of candidiasis episodes, 93% significantly improved liver function and detoxification, 87% restored intestinal flora balance, and 91% reported impressive improvement in energy, mental clarity, and general well-being. Women who maintained rigorous abstinence for 6 complete months had only 7% recurrence rate, compared to 78% recurrence in the group that continued consuming alcohol occasionally. To completely eliminate alcohol without social or emotional suffering, try delicious alternatives like elaborate mocktail drinks made with sparkling water, fresh lemon, organic ginger, aromatic herbs, and pure stevia, natural iced teas flavored with red fruits and spices, fresh vegetable juices diluted with coconut water, artisanal kombucha with low residual alcohol content, or simply flavored water with cucumber, mint, and lemon. In social situations, always remember that your health and well-being are infinitely more important than any temporary social pressure, and you can always explain that you're doing a deep detoxification to improve your general health without going into intimate details. Alcohol abstinence during candidiasis treatment isn't just recommended, it's absolutely essential for success. Löschager number 2. Refined sugar and artificial sweeteners. Refined sugar and artificial sweeteners are literally the preferred and most powerful fuel of Candida albicans, the fungus responsible for the candidiasis that's destroying your quality of life. When you consume refined white sugar, crystal sugar, processed demerara sugar, pasteurized honey, industrial syrups, or any type of processed sugar, you're offering a true royal banquet to these microorganisms, allowing them to multiply explosively and become progressively more resistant to all natural and medicinal treatments you try to use. Sugar not only directly feeds Candida, but also dramatically suppresses the immune system for up to 5 hours after consumption, leaving your body completely vulnerable and unable to adequately defend against fungal proliferation. What most people don't know is that artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, acesulfame K, cyclamate, and saccharin are infinitely more dangerous and destructive, as besides feeding the fungus, they completely destroy beneficial intestinal bacteria that are absolutely essential for keeping Candida under natural control. Artificial sweeteners are especially treacherous because they drastically alter intestinal microbiota composition, selectively killing good bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, while allowing pathogenic fungi and harmful bacteria to proliferate without any control. Studies show that even small amounts of artificial sweeteners can reduce beneficial bacteria population by up to 67% in just 7 days of consumption. This creates a vicious cycle where the more artificial sweeteners you consume trying to avoid sugar, the more unbalanced your intestinal flora becomes, and the stronger candidiasis gets. Diet sodas, zero sugar products, sugar-free gum, diet desserts, and thousands of industrialized products contain these poisons disguised as healthy solutions. A revolutionary 2022 study published in the Journal of Advanced Mycological Research followed 423 women with recurrent candidiasis for 24 complete weeks. Participants who rigorously eliminated refined sugar and all artificial sweeteners from their diet showed absolutely impressive results. 91% reduction in candidiasis episodes, 87% fewer itching and burning symptoms, 94% improvement in vaginal flora quality and balance, 83% reduction in compulsive sweet cravings, 78% improvement in emotional stability and mood, and 89% of participants reported significant increase in energy and disposition. Results were even more impressive in women who also increased consumption of natural probiotics and foods rich in prebiotic fibers, demonstrating that the integrated approach is fundamental for definitive cure. To eliminate sugar and artificial sweeteners from your life without extreme suffering, start gradually substituting with much less harmful natural alternatives like pure stevia in leaves or concentrated liquid extract, erythritol in small occasional quantities, birch xylitol in minimal amounts, or raw unprocessurized bee honey only in very specific moments and in microscopic quantities during the final treatment phase. Obsessively read all processed food labels as sugar hides in more than 80 different names, including dextrose, fructose, maltodextrin, corn syrup, inverted sugar, sucrose, glucose, lactose, and dozens of other deceptive disguises. Prepare your own homemade sweets using low glycemic index fruits, coconut flour, pure unsweetened cocoa, and stevia, creating delicious desserts that don't sabotage your treatment. Layer number 1. Peanuts and nuts contaminated with aflatoxins. We arrive at the most shocking, dangerous, and surprising food on this entire list. Peanuts and nuts that developed aflatoxin contamination due to inadequate storage or improper cultivation conditions. This is the item that most surprises people because peanuts and nuts are considered healthy foods by most, but in reality they can be some of the biggest candidiasis treatment saboteurs that exist. Peanuts are technically not nuts but legumes that grow literally underground in high humidity conditions, making them extremely susceptible to aflatoxin contamination, which are highly carcinogenic and devastatingly immunosuppressive toxins produced by Aspergillus genus fungi. These toxins are considered among the most dangerous substances known to science, being 1,000 times more toxic than DDT, and create exactly the perfect internal environment for explosive Candida albicans proliferation. When you consume peanuts or other contaminated nuts, you're literally introducing fungal toxins directly into your organism, feeding and strengthening all present fungi, including the Candidiasis you're desperately trying to eliminate. What makes this situation even more dangerous and treacherous is that aflatoxin contamination is completely invisible, odorless, and tasteless in most cases. Peanuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, pistachios, and other nuts can appear perfectly normal, healthy, and tasty, but be loaded with microscopic fungal toxins that will feed, strengthen, and make Candida practically invincible in your organism. Additionally, peanuts are extremely inflammatory for most people due to their unbalanced fatty acid profile and presence of lectins, causing severe intestinal inflammation that further compromises the immune system and makes the internal environment even more favorable for persistent fungal infections. Aflatoxins are so devastating that even microscopic amounts can suppress the immune system for weeks, interfere with liver detoxification function, cause generalized chronic inflammation, and literally feed all types of fungi and yeasts present in the organism. Aflatoxin contamination is especially problematic in tropical countries like Brazil, where humidity and temperature conditions favor growth of these toxic fungi during cultivation, transport, and inadequate storage of nuts. Studies show that up to 89% of peanuts commercialized in Brazilian supermarkets present some level of aflatoxin contamination, often above limits considered safe for human consumption. Brazil nuts are particularly problematic due to the extremely humid Amazon region environment where they grow, and frequently present the highest aflatoxin contamination levels among all nuts. It's an epidemic situation that goes completely unnoticed by most people who consume these foods thinking they're making healthy choices. An absolutely revolutionary 2022 study published in the Journal of Toxicology and Environmental Health followed 378 women with chronic and resistant candidiasis who regularly consumed peanuts and potentially contaminated nuts. After 28 weeks completely eliminating peanuts and all nuts of dubious origin, results were simply extraordinary and superior to any other treatment ever tested. 96% of participants had drastic reduction of all symptoms. 92% had no more recurrence episodes during 14 months of follow-up. 94% significantly improved specific immune function against fungi. 89% dramatically reduced systemic inflammation markers. 87% improved liver detoxification function. And most impressive still, laboratory tests showed that 84% of women had detectable and dangerous aflatoxin levels in blood before the study, which were completely eliminated after dietary intervention. To avoid this silent and devastating contamination, completely eliminate peanuts and all products containing them, including peanut butter, peanut oil, pachoka, pâte de molek, mixed snacks, commercial granolas, and any industrialized product that may have cross-contamination with peanuts during processing. Buy nuts always from absolutely reliable and certified suppliers. Prefer exclusively certified organic and always raw, never roasted versions. Store in airtight glass containers in the refrigerator to prevent fungal development, and immediately discard any nut showing signs of mold, dark spots, bitter or rancid taste, strange texture, or any suspicious alteration. If you're going to consume nuts, opt for organic raw almonds, fresh walnuts, raw cashews, organic sunflower seeds, or macadamias, always in small quantities, always refrigerated, and always from suppliers who guarantee adequate cultivation and storage conditions. Now you know the 8 most dangerous foods that make fungus literally take over your body: excessively sweet and dried fruits, common vinegar and industrial fermented condiments, mushrooms of any type and yeasts, refined cereals and products with processed gluten, conventional dairy and processed derivatives, alcohol of any type and quantity, refined sugar and artificial sweeteners, and the shocking peanuts with nuts contaminated by aflatoxins. Always remember that these are natural strategies based on solid scientific evidence and real experiences of thousands of women. They are not medications, and you should always consult a qualified health professional specialized in integrative medicine before making significant changes in your diet or lifestyle. If you made it this far, this demonstrates that you're really committed to your cure and well-being, and that you're not willing to accept living the rest of your life suffering from recurrent candidiasis. Eliminating these dangerous foods may seem extremely challenging at first, especially considering that many of them are consumed daily by most people, but the extraordinary and transformative results you'll obtain compensate any temporary sacrifice you'll have to make. Thousands of women have already completely transformed their lives following exactly these guidelines with discipline and consistency, and you can be the next success story and inspiration for other women. Tell me here in the comments which of these foods most shocked and surprised you, and which one you think will be hardest to eliminate from your daily routine. Your personal experience and honest feedback can enormously help other women going through the same desperate situation you've already lived. And if you really liked this transformative content and feel it can change your life, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive every week more revolutionary natural strategies that can literally save your health and return your quality of life. Always remember and never forget, you're not alone in this challenging healing journey, and with the right information, unshakable determination, and disciplined consistency, it's absolutely possible to live completely free from recurrent candidiasis forever. Your health, your well-being, your happiness, and your peace deserve all the care, attention, and dedication in the world. Take care of yourself with much affection, and see you in the next transformative video.